Hey everybody, Tom Catlin coming to you live or almost live from somewhere in Texas. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard anybody say something like,
"Oh my gosh, look at that dress. What was she thinking?"
I mean, really? Well, in today's edition, we're going to be talking about the things that you might be thinking, but you better not say when you're looking to buy a house. And it all starts right now. Hey everybody, thank you so much for staying with me and welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I know the example that I just gave you was a little silly, maybe a little bit contrived. Would never happen, but what if it did? No, not in the United States. It's going to happen. Before we get further into this, some of you may think, well, yeah, I mean, they can't record what you're saying while you're in their house if they're not there. That may or may not be the case, and that's my understanding that they're not allowed to do it, but it doesn't mean they're not going to do it, right? So keep that in mind. So when you go into a house, whether you're going to an open house with or without your agent, I am available for you. Don't go in there and say, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this house forever, or this is my dream house. Why? Because they're going to hear that and they're going to use that to help drive up the price. We are in a very, very competitive market, and the last thing I want to do to you or have happen to you is that you start negotiating against yourself. I mean, who would do that? Nobody, right? Nobody on purpose. Don't say things like that. Don't say this is my dream house. On the other hand, you want to avoid saying things that are critical. Look at that wall. What were they thinking? Or, oh my gosh, look at those curtains, or whatever it is. If it's a house that you might be interested in, keep a lid on it. If it's not a house that you're interested in, you're not going to hurt anybody's feeling, especially your agent's feelings, if you say, this isn't the one for me, let's go. Don't be a bragger. I can spend $400,000. What is this house at? $325, $333? What if we put an offer for $340? You don't know what's being recorded. You don't know what other people are going to hear. So whether you're at an open house with a lot of people, or if you're outside and you're talking to a neighbor about whatever, just to glean a little more information, don't give your secrets away. Ask questions, absolutely. See what answers you get, absolutely. But don't assume the reason they're buying is a good thing. I'm sorry, the reason they're selling is a good thing. Don't assume that they're happy about it, and don't assume that you're not being heard. We want you to win when we are representing you as the buyer. Don't say anything, don't ask innocent things. What does that mean? Well, why are you selling? Well, I'm selling because it doesn't matter why they're selling. Just know that it's on the market. They've put it on for a price that they think is a good starting point. In this market, it may go higher, but whether it's 2020 or 2025 doesn't really matter. Assume that they're going to hear you and they're going to use what you have to say against you in the court of law? No, in the court of negotiations. And don't push too much for information. When you're outside and you see neighbors, yeah, absolutely. You want to ask questions. What do you think about this? What do you think about the neighborhood? On the other hand, you don't want to be an open book. Don't say things like, oh my gosh, this is my dream house. The pool's right across the street, or the pool in the back is exactly as I want it to be, or walking distance for my kids, or it's convenient to everything. Keep that on the down low. You absolutely want to share your information with your agent on a phone call or in person while you're having coffee or somewhere off-site. Do not do it while you're at the house. And don't assume that you're safe while you're outside. I know of people who have cameras on the outside with recording devices. Certainly, that's not a surprise to most of you, but it may be. Even their Ring doorbells or whatever brand. One more thing. If you're interested in the house, don't start talking about how it's overpriced. When you leave, absolutely you want to go and talk to your buyer's agent and have a discussion on where you would like to start in the negotiations and see where it goes. But don't close the door to defeat And don't open the door to people taking money out of your pockets before the negotiation even begins. I hope that makes sense, and I'm glad you're here. Listen, I know that community is important, and so is your house. I want you to be heard and understood by your agent. I don't want you to be heard and understood and negotiated against your own self with the words you used by the seller, by the person on the other side of the table. Hey everybody, I'm glad you're here with me. Have a great day. I am going to have announcements probably next week about my first giveaway for January of 2020. If you like or subscribe, you'll probably get some bonus entries for whatever that prize is. If you have questions that you'd like to know, I'd love to know about those as well. Just post them below, and have a great day. We're live or almost live. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon.